Hi, I'm Aisha Lumumba, a fabric artist, an author, and a passionate quilter. I began quilting when I was very young. My interest for fabric grew as a child even, but as I've grown older, it has turned into a love. I first started quilting doing traditional quilts. I worked on different patterns that were traditional in the quilt book, mostly geometric designs, such as Chain Melody, the Stella Experience, the Zimbabwe Basket. My imagination started to explode as I wondered how these traditional patterns would look if I used some other fabrics, like some African-inspired fabrics and other ethnic prints, as evidenced in Bustin' Loose, which is a traditional Amish pattern, and then 90 Degrees, Another Day at a Marketplace, and My Street, which is a log cabin pattern. These are wonderful examples of what you can do with a traditional pattern and your imagination. I used to do all my work by hand. I would hand piece it and hand quilt it. When I was doing that, it would take me about a year just to make 2 quilts. Then I went from one extreme way over to the other end, where I did all my piecing by machine, and I had all of them machine quilted. Then I could do a few more. People always ask me how long does it take. It depends on the size of the quilt, the difficulty of the pattern, and whether I'm going to do any hand embellishments or anything like that. It also depends on whether there are other quilts ahead of that one. But then I found a good mix between hand work and machine work. So now I do applique by hand, sometimes I piece by hand, and then I might quilt it by machine. I mix it up. I might piece it by machine, quilt it by hand. I have found that mix to be the greatest accomplishment in terms of creating wonderful art. I decided to expand my horizons even more. I noticed that other people were enjoying art quilts and making pictures and people with quilts. So I decided to try some silhouettes. I did silhouettes. I did a few landscapes, as you'll see with ATL. The silhouettes I started, and it was wonderful. I had once said I would never applique. Never say never, because I've explored appliquing and I've fallen in love with it. So now I have all these great silhouettes. I did the whole series of Mrs. Big with the hats, and I did ATL. I did this Quilter's Dream. I did the Mad Sacks series. So I have been having a lot of fun with this new art form. It just keeps getting better. Who knows where I'll go next? This last adventure that I'm on right now is creating faces out of the quilts, doing different dimensions and bringing in that close design. I went from silhouettes to actually eyes, noses, cheeks, the whole works. So these quilts are now my exploration into the face. The good news is you can get more information on ordering, taking one of these quilts home with you at obaquilts.com. That's OBA quilts with an S.com.